Happy Saturday, crafters! It's Hand Stamp by Cheryl in Indianapolis, and we are going live for my first ever Who Knows Stamping. So this is an event where you can follow along live and create along with me, or you can, if you're not live, you can watch the replay and just check out what we're doing. So I thought this would be a fun way to try and create, but to be honest with you, I'm feeling a little nervous. So this is like an interactive sort of mystery event. I hope to do one of these every month. So this is called the Roll It version of Who Knows Stamping. So I've got my son Silas filming along with me. And he is going to try and follow along and capture what I'm doing. So we're going to be using some dice that I bought on Etsy, and we're going to roll the dice here in a minute to figure out what elements are going to be coming on my card. So I have no idea what I'm doing. So the first dice has some color options. The second dice has some sentiment options. The third dice has some like embellishment, stylistic options. These are more technique options, maybe some embellishment options, and some more, it looks like, technique. So we'll see what we create. I'm just going to refresh my screen here, make sure that we're going live, because this is the first time I've done this. And make sure the camera is facing the right direction. Okay, good. Looks good. So thank you for joining us. And if you have any comments, you can post below, and Silas will be reading comments here as I go, hopefully. So let's get started. I'm a little nervous. Let's see. Here we go. 1, 2, 3, roll it. Oh, that one didn't happen. We'll have to do it that way. Okay, so we have sponging, texture, fun fold. Oh my goodness, ladies, that's a little too much for me on the spot. Thanks as the sentiment, and black and white. Okay, so the color options will be easy, right? This is my little handy dandy container of card bases ready to go. So I'm going to take out a black one, or is that white? Yeah, white. So we know what colors we're doing, so that's good. I can move those aside. Let's see. Fun fold. I'll have to think about that one for a second. Okay, now sentiments. So I was trying to figure out, how am I going to pick a sentiment? I think we already know what colors, so we don't need to look there. I'm using the annual catalog, and there's not really an index that's going to help us figure out a thanks. However, I did not put tabs on my catalog this year, but there are headings up here in the right-hand corner, and left-hand corner, that say like all occasion. And then we've got lots of all occasion. Okay, so then we've got like kids and baby. We've got some love, thanks, and support. So since we're looking for thanks, I'm going to come to that section. And starts right here. I love this Abigail Rose suite, but I do not own it yet. So we'll skip that. Don't have this. Don't have this. Don't have any of those. Don't have that one either. So you got to find something, obviously, that you already own. Wow. Okay, so I do have this one. This is the Plentiful Plants, and it has a thank you stamp. So I might choose that one. I don't have any of those. Ooh, I just bought this one, and I have not used it yet. This is True Beauty Bundle. And I'll be honest with you, I'm not a flowers person. There is no thanks in this one, so I guess that's more of a love and support. But I'm not really a flowers person, but the reason I bought it is because of this awesome die right here. So We'll see. There's no thanks in that one though. Okay. I don't have any of those. I don't have that one. Wow, this is a category that I might need to get some more things on. Okay, I have this one. But again, that doesn't say thanks. Don't have those either. So I always like to use current products just because it's more fun to do that. So this starts a new category. So I don't have a whole lot of thanks. I do have this thanks die. So maybe we'll go ahead and use that one for the thanks, okay? So I'll get that in a minute. And then I need to use texture. So texture is best done maybe with an embossing folder. So those are in the back. So I'm in the annual catalog, and let's see, embossing folders are getting close, I think. These are dies. Yep, embossing folders are after the dies. And there are many that I have not even used yet. So maybe I haven't used this Painted Posies one. I don't know if that would look good in black and white, because remember, I got to try and do something in black and white. You know what? What about this one? This Merry Melody. Yeah, I think that's the texture that I'm going to do. And then sponging. So I need to do some sponging. So we've got some options on that. Okay, so Silas is now going to follow me around my craft room so I can get all of the different supplies that I need. Okay, so you can take a peek. It's not very clean though. So let's start with the sponging, okay? So over here is where, turn this light on here, back up Silas. This is where I keep my sponges. So we do not sell the regular sponges anymore. I feel like you're really close, Silas. Maybe you could back up a little bit. Thanks. Okay, so here is like a black sponge. I like to put a little clip on it with a color so I know what colors to use. And here's a white sponge. So I'll probably stick with either black, white, or gray because that's the color combo that we're doing. We also have these blending brushes, and this is my gray blending brush. I don't think I have one specific for black ink, so we'll just use the gray one. So these are the sponges that we're going to use, okay? Then come on over here. This is where I keep my embossing folders. And so I have them labeled. These are current ones. And I put a little sticker in the top right corner to say the name of it and then what type it is. And then I put them in alphabetical order. So I think if we're doing black and white, I sort of like the idea of that Merry Melody. So we might do that. But this, I don't know, this Painted Posies I haven't used yet. And so I might want to do that. So we'll stick with, I think, one of these two options, okay? So let's come back over here. We've got black and white, fun fold, thanks, texture, and sponging. All right, so for the thanks, I'm going to look at my dies. My current dies are down here, and I have them in categories of words. So here is the one for Amazing Thanks. It has 8 dies in there. And so I think I'm going to use this thanks option. Okay. Actually, I leave the ones I'm using, I leave them out so I remember to put them away. Okay. Next, we're going to come over here, Silas. So you can scoot back a little bit so you can see. So this is my drawer of sort of like card fronts, and I have them in white and vanilla. So I always grab a white one for the inside of the card, and then I think I might want one for the front of the card, okay? Even though it's a fun fold, so I gotta figure out what I'm doing with that. So let me grab these dice, and I'll come back over here drop my supplies off. How are we doing, Silas? Do you see anybody here with us?
Yeah.
Making any comments or have any questions about what kind of craziness I'm getting myself into? So let me just refresh too here. Okay, so if you are crafting along with me, you want to try and gather some supplies. Anybody have any ideas for me? Because I'm feeling a little overwhelmed. Okay, so let's start, I think, by embossing this. I'm just going to see how I like that look. And I'm not much of a music person, so I don't even know which is the correct. Oh, it goes this way, I think, upside down. Because this, I think, is a treble clef is what it's called. And I know it faces that direction. So I think the actual embossing folder is upside down. But I don't know how to read music, and I don't play any instruments, so I have no idea. Okay, so I'm going to take this back over to the die cut machine, and we're going to run it through. Okay, and so if you've been to events at my house before, you know that I have this little handy dandy sign next to my die cut machine. And so because this is a 3D folder, we are going to use this 3D indication here that you're going to use the 1 plate and the 4 plate to run through. And the nice part about this new machine is that Stampin' Up! Labeled them or numbered them. So we need the 1 and then the gray plate, which is number 4. Okay, and that's all you need. So this is going to be the meat of your sandwich that goes in the middle as you run it through. Okay, and then comes out. There we go. All right, let's head back over to my space, and I'm going to try and just do some sponging. So all of my ink is behind me, and I have them in color families, but based on the dice, they say that I'm supposed to be using black and white. So I could probably get away with using basic gray, which is like a dark gray. Otherwise, the black ink that we have is Memento. We also have some Whisper white ink, so maybe if I were using black paper, I could have done that sponging. So we'll just see how this turns out. Let's start with just the black ink, and I'm going to dip my sponge in here, and okay, you can do it that way, or if you wanted to use the blending brush. But I love when you add, oops, that was too much. Sometimes you always want to start off before you come on so that you don't have the splotch that I just created right there. But I love the way that the sponging makes the embossing just sort of pop. Go that way and then also. All right, so that's one option. You could also do this embossing on black cardstock and use white ink to make it pop. So, I don't know, that's a little basic. Okay, so for these thanks dies, I really like how there are 2 of them and you can layer them. So I think if that one were like black and then this one were white. Yeah, so I'm going to come over to my scrap drawer because you always like to try and use up your scraps if you can. So I keep all of my scraps over here. These are my DSP scraps, and these are my cardstock scraps. And so I'm going to do black and white. So I've got them labeled here. So this is white, and find a piece that's going to fit. There you go. And then a black piece. Big enough, right? Okay. We're going to head back over to the die cut machine. I haven't really picked a stamp yet, so I'll have to do some stamping in there too. Okay, so we're going to do, the big one is going to be black, and the smaller one is going to be white. I should probably clean all this off. I'm actually using the magnetic platform that sadly was recalled, but mine is great and wonderful, and so I'm going to keep using it until I have any problems with it, and hopefully Stampin' Up! Comes out with another one again soon. So I will tell you that the original plan for today's card making event was my husband was going to do this along with us, so that he was making a card at the same time that I was making a card. But my son's baseball game last night got rained out, and it got rescheduled for today. So my husband is at a baseball game. So maybe the next time I do this, we can be graced with his presence trying to create a card. All right, so let's head on back over here. Thanks for tracking with me, Silas. Okay, I'm going to use some green Tombow glue here and just put some drops of glue. Silas, I thought you were going to be able to just hand the phone over and keep it here, but it looks like I'm running around, and so I need you to stay with me. So thank you for spending your Saturday morning in the craft room, which doesn't happen ever, right? Okay, so I just love the way that looks. Okay, so we've got thanks layered on top. Okay, so I've done the texture, I've done the sponging, I've done the thanks, I've got some black and white going on, but what I don't have is the fun fold. So if anybody's watching along with me and they have any ideas, we got to figure out how to get a fun fold out of this. I can tell you there are two that I do sort of more regularly than others. So I think I'll do one of those just to show you that my two basic, the easiest go-to ones. However, those involve cutting your cardstock the other direction than this. So we're going to put this one back, and I'm going to go grab a new piece of black cardstock over here, Silas. So I've got my basics right here. I always have one full pack and then an open pack. And that way I've got sort of a reservoir in case I start running low. And I do sell these by the sheet. So if you're in the Indianapolis area and you're like, absolutely need a particular color and you've run out or whatnot, I do have them available by the sheet. So we're going to take the basic black, and I'm going to show you just my two basic fun folds. Oops, throwing my blending brushes around. All right, so using the trimmer, we're going to cut it this direction. So the paper is 8.5 by 11. So half of 8.5 is 4 1/4. So you come over to 4 1/4 and make sure you're using the dark gray and not the scoring blade. Okay, so now we've cut it this way. We're going to score it halfway. So this is 11. So half of 11 is 5.5. So we're going to score it at 5.5. And I'm going to score this one at 5.5. I'm going to do two different folds, and you can see which one you prefer. Okay? So folding that and folding that. Okay, now the next step, I think I like to go over and score this at, I think it's 1 1/4. So let's see, what's the best way to do this? 1 1/4. Okay, and then you'll fold it this way, and then this card will just open like this instead. Okay, and to do that, you probably want to use, I don't know, I usually use tear and tape as opposed to green glue. So our tear and tape is the best. Comes in a roll like this, and the best part about it is you can just tear it without using any scissors. So I put it right here at this point. Okay, so you put it down and then you peel off this other part and then you can just glue it down. Okay, and then I always like to put a ribbon or a baker's twine right here just to sort of show that there's the crease there. Okay, so that's one easy fold. And then the other one involves taking this front portion, which is 5.5, and cutting that in half. So that would be 2 3/4, right? So go 2 3/4, and I'm going to cut it, not score it. Okay, and then putting it right here. So that is another fun fold. So if this piece were on the inside, you can sort of see how it will open like this. Okay, so for the sake of today's fun fold, I think I'm going to go with this one. Okay, so I'll save that for another card, which means this piece right here, if you have your grid paper too, you can always use your grid paper for a ruler. So this is 4 1/4. So I'm going to cut this piece to be 4 by 4. Okay, so I'm going to trim this one down. I might cut off that little blotch that I made over there. So this is now going to be 4 by 4. Sadly, I don't have the treble clefs in here to know which direction is up. Okay, so then we're going to do that. We're going to stick the thanks over here. I don't know why you would be thanking someone, though, with a music notes. So, okay, so I know I want some baker's twine, and I'm going to want some maybe DSP to sort of jazz this up, maybe some kind of shape behind the thanks. So Silas, if you can follow me around, I'm going to pick up a couple more things. So over here is my baker's twine, and I haven't organized it quite lately, but this is a hodgepodge of the different ones I have. Okay, so this one's retired, but it's black and gray, so that one might go well with that. I also have a metallic drawer, so like a silver could look good, but I'll take both just in case. Okay, then I want some designer series paper, so let's head over here. And again, we're just looking for a scrap. And I think I actually have, I have a black and white folder. So we're gonna, you know what, I'm just gonna take a whole folder with me. And that's part of why I switched over to this method of storing my scraps, was so that I could just carry the whole thing over to my space. So we're gonna come over here for that. And then lastly, I'm going to grab a shape. So I'm in the middle of scrapbooking over here, so ignore the mess. But I do have a section over here of shapes, and these are just sort of like die cuts and random things that I am trying to get onto a card. So this is the one that shapes, and I'm trying to keep with the black and white theme. So, you know, something like that I already have cut, that I don't have to cut anything out. So, or something, ooh, like this, that might be something to add. Okay, so Silas, follow me back out, and we'll see about adding some elements here. That's interesting. Okay, what else do I have? Can I add silver on this? I don't know. That's neat. Okay, if I go that, no. Okay, so this is just like a little, that could work. I was looking more, I don't want scallops, but I was just looking for like something like that to sort of offset it. Don't like that one. Oh, here's some black and white. Oh, you know what else I have? I have some of these in black. Yep, some of those. What about these? I don't know, maybe too much. Okay. who knows stamping, because sometimes I don't know if I know. All right, so let's look at some DSP. We got some flowers. We got some stripes. So these look like they're already not quite big enough. So I'm looking for like a 1-inch piece. Sort of like this one. Yes, I do. Okay, so we're gonna do that. Okay, so this is 1 1/4 by 4 1/4. So I'm going to cut it to 1 inch by 4 inches. And I think I sort of didn't cut that right, but it'll be close enough. Okay, and then when you add the baker's twine, I definitely think the silver is going to be best. So I'm going to go ahead and glue this down. I'm going to use my seal for this. And then, let's see, you probably need about 4 1/4, 8 1/2, maybe like 10 inches of this to tie a bow that goes all the way around. And I'll show you my little trick for tying bows, especially when you don't have someone to hold it for you. I like to use my scissors. So I just put my scissors sort of in place to go where your finger would traditionally go. Okay, hold on. Okay, scissors on top. Okay, and then I tie a knot. Oh, goodness. There we go. I got some glue on my finger that's getting in the way there. Okay, so I tie a knot, and then once I have the knot sort of there and taut, then I pull the scissors out of there, and then I just tie the loops after that. Now, this is a different kind of metallic thread or something, so it's not as easy to get a tight bow, and I worry that it's going to come undone. So I should probably have done like 2 knots or something, but you get the idea. Okay, so from here, anybody watching to be able to tell me which direction to go on this? Yee. No earthly idea. Okay, and then what do you think? Where'd my thanks go? This is where we turn into a scavenger hunt. Oh, found it. What do you think? Silas, do you want to give me your feedback? Should I do
towards the top?
The thanks towards the top?
Mm-hmm.
Let's see. I feel like I want it as a shape, but I'm not sure if I'm loving these shapes. No. I feel like I want like either a silver or some kind of like a vellum looking. Well, you know what? I've got a separate area for vellum, so maybe. Oh, here. Well, that's a scallop. I don't think I like the scallop. Nope, definitely not. I feel like I want like silver vellum, and I don't know if I want to get up and actually cut that. Do you feel like that sometimes where you get a little lazy with what you're doing? All right, I'm going to look for vellum real fast. So I've got a vellum drawer. I should put these in alphabetical order so I don't. Okay, do I have a shape? It looks like I've got a lot of leaves and whatnot. I don't know about this shape either. Got these little banners, so let's back up here, Silas, and see. Can't see that at all, and this just doesn't seem to match. Okay, so I'm feeling like this is a little boring. You can always add bling to this, right? So like some gems or whatnot, but this is definitely a little too boring for my liking. especially for a fancy fold. So I'm going to come back to this idea of, I don't like it, Silas. What do I do?
You should use the black circle.
Ooh, this one's interesting. A black circle. This one. I don't know. What about this? Nope, not that. What about this? That's a little better, I think. Yeah, that's a little bit better, but I'm going to need some bling. So I'm going to come over here real fast and just find some, probably silver to sort of go with the twine that I put. You know what? I'm going to try and use these up right here because I only have a couple anyhow. All right, come on back over. I'm almost finished. So if you are doing this along with me, make sure you post a picture of what you come up with, which I'm sure is going to be completely different than what I have. And that's sort of the fun of it, is just to see how maybe the creative process works and how people do things differently, or what ideas pop into their mind. Yeah, we'll just do that. And I think I need an adhesive remover. Do I want to use dimensionals? Yes, I do. So, all right, so next month I hope to do this on August 13th. So I'll create another event. But that Who Knows Stamping is going to be the roll it, not the roll it version, the poll it version, which means I am going to post polls, and depending on the feedback that you guys who are watching give will depend on which way I create. So if I say, should I use this or that, you will tell me what to use, and I will get your feedback, which might be easier than doing it this way. So, that one fell off here. All right, almost finished. So we've got a thanks card. So anybody like music? This would be a nice option to send to someone. I think it's a fancy fold, but it's about as simple as you can get. And that's what I came up with. So thank you for watching my first version of Who Knows Stamping, and make sure you comment below and show me what you've created, and I hope to see you next month. Happy crafting!